What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the fight talk. Curtis Blaydes versus Alexander Volkov is a good one. Curtis Blaydes is 13-2, Alexander Volkov 31-7. So this one is interesting. And you know, with the COVID pandemic, shout out to the UFC for being the only sport to keep us entertained with some quality action during a time when just about all American sports had been shut down. There are mixed opinions on whether this was a responsible move, but nevertheless, Dana and company did it, and as of now, it hasn't really backfired. So Blaydes and Volkov are the number 3 and number 7 ranked contenders respectively. Blaydes has been the more active of the two. Both of their last losses were in late 2018. Blaydes got KO'd early by the devastatingly powerful Francis Ngannou, and Volkov got knocked out by Derrick the Black Beast Lewis in a fight that he was dominating until the final 15 seconds of the fight. Since those knockouts of Blaydes and Volkov, which again happened at around the same time, within a month of each other in fact, Blaydes has fought and won 3 times, 2 of those being against top 15 ranked opponents, one of whom is a former champ, Junior Dos Santos, whereas Volkov took an entire year off before making his return versus former NFL Pro Bowler Greg Hardy and won a decision in a pretty competitive fight. That's Volkov's only fight since the knockout loss, and that Hardy fight was supposed to be against Junior Dos Santos, but JDS had to pull out of the fight because of a bacterial infection. Before that, Volkov was supposed to fight Alistair Overeem, but that fight was also scratched, but we're not exactly sure why Volkov had to pull out of that. If any of you know why, please let me know in the comment section. So here, we've got an outstanding kickboxer in Volkov versus a former junior college national champ wrestler in Curtis Blaydes. Blaydes, however, has rounded his game out tremendously, adding solid boxing and kickboxing skills, which were on full display when he knocked out Junior Dos Santos in his last fight. Now that fight was fought almost entirely in the stand-up, where on paper, JDS should have had the advantage. But 1, Curtis Blaydes is a very good athlete, and 2, he also seems super coachable to where he's adding and integrating these other skills into his arsenal and is actually able to display them versus top competition. I'd still give Volkov a slight edge in the stand-up over Blaydes. He's 6'7" to Blaydes is 6'4". He's got the deeper kickboxing pedigree, and Volkov doesn't make the same silly mistakes that JDS has been making in the stand-up lately. JDS started to throw lead right-hand power uppercuts, which is extremely dangerous and left him vulnerable. And when I say dangerous, I mean to the person throwing the punch. So if you're an orthodox fighter, you got your jab hand and your power hand, and you're not even setting up the uppercut with the jab. You're leading with your power hand, which anybody knows. For instance, if you throw a right hand to the body, your head is totally exposed. So you got to be very careful when you select those types of shots. Now, this wasn't even a right hand to the body that JDS is throwing versus Blaydes. He is leading from back here with a power uppercut. You know how long it takes for that to get there compared to what the opponent's going to throw, either as a jab or even a lead left hook? It takes a while for you to even load up on that. JDS tried to throw that punch at least 3 times, and he eventually paid for it and got finished by Curtis Blaydes. I don't see Volkov make that same type of mistake, although he did get finished late versus Derrick Lewis. But Lewis, to his credit, set up that powerful right hand well by push jabbing Volkov to the chest first. So he basically kept his body, boom, at distance and followed it up with the right hand in the last 15 seconds of a 3-round fight. A fight that, again, Volkov was whooping Derrick Lewis's behind until he got flatlined. So the stand-up between Blaydes and Volkov should be pretty close and competitive. Again, slight edge to Volkov in my opinion. But unfortunately for Volkov, Curtis Blaydes is one of the best wrestlers in the heavyweight division and can set up takedowns and basically maul the 6'7" Volkov, which I think is the more likely scenario. I don't see this fight being very competitive on the ground, and we've seen Blaydes take people down, keep them there, and often finish them there. Go back and look at his TKO stoppage versus Alistair Overeem 5 fights ago. The only person to beat Blaydes in MMA has been Francis Ngannou, who's beaten him twice now, both by knockouts. But Ngannou has an otherworldly type of punching power that Blaydes doesn't have to worry about nearly as much versus Volkov. Volkov can finish opponents with strikes, but more often than not, he's winning his by decision, especially against some of the more durable opponents, which Blaydes appears to be. Another thing to note, this is a 5-rounder. I see the rounds between Blaydes and Volkov that feature more stand-up as being nearly even. I see Blaydes scoring a takedown by the 2nd round. I think Blaydes wins this fight by 3rd round TKO stoppage or via 4 rounds to 1 or 3 rounds to 2 decision. What Blaydes needs to avoid are mostly 2 things. 1, getting caught with the power strike early in the fight and getting knocked out. Cause hey, it happens, especially in MMA. And Volkov is certainly capable. And 2, he needs to worry about getting out kickboxed early, being unable to secure the takedown when attempted, getting fatigued, and now you're stuck in a stand-up with somebody who's got the edge on you. And as you're tiring, that edge starts to increase and Volkov is pulling away on the scorecards. If Blaydes avoids those 2 scenarios, then I think he wins this, possibly by middle round stoppage. But let me know what you think about this fight. And can we all just give the props where they're due in the UFC's ability to more or less keep this ball rolling? No, I don't think we'll get the absolute biggest fights that the sport has to offer. Not now, at least. But damn, did we not get Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje? Are we not getting DC versus Stipe 3? Plus, the rest of the calendar for the next couple months is super stacked. Sure, there are some C or D level main event fights on some of these ESPN cards, like this last one with Jessica I versus Calvillo. Which Calvillo looked good? I don't think she's going to look good versus Shevchenko, but who does? Especially in Shevchenko's current weight class. But there are also some really good fights, and have been some really good fights. Former 170-pound champ Tyron Woodley versus Gilbert Burns, and then the upcoming showdown between former 185-pound champ Robert Whittaker versus Darren Till. And even here, we've got Curtis Blaydes versus Alexander Volkov. Not bad at all. I was very leery on Dana White's bullishness to keep the fights going when the pandemic first got pretty scary, but again, this hasn't backfired yet. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into the fight talk. I'm Woog, thanks for tuning in.